But can you download the video?
Because it's cloud storage. Straight.
We're joking. We're not doing it.
Okay, because I have to download it and upload it to YouTube.
Can you send me the URL for that?
Yeah.
I'll do the extra
Ooh,
credit.
then we
next
can upload
work
it.
assignment.
For
Okay.
another $20.
I don't need my contact and stuff.
We'll try not to like make silly faces at you. It'd be cool as cute.
I hate this game.
It's your last one.
I know, but I'm just gonna start.
Do not do that, Ryan.
What? It'll make it not as hard.
This is part of being an LO. It's your LO training. I actually told her professor to. She doesn't know that though.
Is my professor
Would be
white,
the
black,
worst.
or Asian?
All of them.
We'll Blasian.
I just figured I would just.
Oh, I gotta cut that part out, guys.
Yeah, you definitely have to cut some of this out.
Okay. How many Americans want to buy a home at some point in their life? How many Americans are qualified to buy a home? How many Americans know how to buy a home? Over 90% of Americans will become a mortgager and possess a home at some point in their life. After working in the mortgage industry for several years, I've gained extensive knowledge on how to obtain a mortgage. In order to be a part of this 90% of Americans who will obtain a mortgage and own a home at some point in their life, we must understand what important components go into obtaining a mortgage. In order to understand mortgages, it is important to learn one's current liabilities, their own credit history, and the documentation that is required to qualify for a mortgage. Liabilities, oh, shit. Cut. I wonder if I can like snip it together.
I bet you can. But it'd be seamless.
I don't think she. Okay, retake. I told you guys this.
It's not gonna be perfect. You just have to roll with the mistake.
Just keep on going with it. Yeah. That's what makes you a good speech person, is you rolling with it.
You don't have to restart. It's fine. I can cut it.
Thanks. The loon is.
Okay.
Like during the speech, she's like.
Have you seen Wolf of Wall Street? Never mind.
Sorry. Everybody.
So Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, Matthew McConaughey does that before every like skit or whatever.
He gets like in the groove.
Well, and so it was not supposed to be in the actual movie, but it was like so legit that that they like rolled with it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And they made an EDM song out of it, but that's besides the point. Okay. How many Americans want to buy a home at some point in their life? How many Americans are qualified to buy a home? How many Americans know how to buy a home? Over 90% of Americans will be a mortgager and possess their own home at some point in their life. After working in the mortgage industry for several years, I've gained extensive knowledge on what it takes to obtain a mortgage. In order to be a part of this 90% of Americans who will own a mortgage and own a home at some point in their life, you must understand what important components go into obtaining a mortgage. In order to understand mortgages, it is important to learn one's own current liabilities, their credit history, and the documentation that is required in order to obtain a mortgage. When it comes to understanding a mortgage, one will need to understand their current liabilities. Liabilities are reviewed as cash flow. Lenders must make sure there is enough income for the proposed mortgage payment after the revolving and installment debts are paid. Loans and leases and credit cards are factored into this debt. Loans and credit cards can't be paid off in order to qualify for a mortgage. Thus, liabilities are taken in as cash flow in order to see if the borrower has sufficient income to cover the new proposed mortgage and their own current debt. This is crucial when considering a borrower's ability to repay the loan. All of their loans, credit cards, and leases are accounted for into this debt-to-income ratio. If a person is able, they can pay their debt to meet the lender's standards. One can then begin to understand how their current liabilities affect their ability to obtain a mortgage. Now that you understand the importance of one's current liabilities, we can begin to discuss the credit history. One's credit history must meet a lender's standards in order to obtain a mortgage. Lenders use 3 credit bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. They use one report which blends all 3 bureaus. This includes public records for liens, judgments, bankruptcies, and foreclosures. 12 months of positive credit history can help to get you qualified for a loan program. Unpaid collections, judgments, and charge-offs usually must be paid in order to close on most loans. Thus, If the lender pulls 3 different bureaus into one report, which includes judgments or liens one may have, this will reflect in the history of a person's credit. A person may also consider paying on time or consecutively for 12 months or so in order to improve their credit history sufficiently to meet the lender's requirements. One will need to understand that any unpaid collections or charge-offs on their credit history must be paid in order to meet the standards and in turn obtain a mortgage. Now that you know the significance of one's credit history, let us discuss the documentation required in order to obtain a mortgage. Proper documentation must be provided in order to qualify for a mortgage. W-2s forms are from the previous years are needed due to guideline requirements in regards to consistent income. Recent pay check stubs are required in order to verify 1 month of current income. Most recent federal tax returns are also required, including all of the pages. The return will be scrutinized for unreimbursed employee business expenses, self-employment business losses, and signs of loan fraud. Lists of assets are required, such as your bank statements or retirement statements. These documents will be scrutinized as well to verify if you're telling the truth about the source of your down payment. Thus, W-2s are required for all mortgages to verify at least 1 year's worth of consistent income. Pay stubs must be provided so the lender may verify that you are still being paid over the most recent month. A person's tax returns are needed to reflect any income, gain, or loss that the W-2 may not reflect to prevent fraud. Assets are required in order to verify sufficient funds to close, as well as to make sure funds are not borrowed as well. All of these different types of required documentation must be available and given in order to qualify for the mortgage. In conclusion, knowing these major components can help one or many to obtain a home. One's current liabilities affect their ability to obtain a mortgage. Their credit history plays a huge part in qualifying, and what documentation is required in order to qualify helps them be a part of that 90% of Americans who will someday be a mortgager and own their home. Mastering these important factors may even help one become a bit more wealthy through investing in multiple properties. Did it look like I read too much?
I think you were fine. I think
I
you
read
read.
too much.
I think you were fine. But
Did I
honestly,
look up enough and like?
You did. You haven't made enough eye contact. Your teacher will not.
It was like at least once every sentence.
Yeah.
So
I think you only looked at like more of the bigger parts that you were worried about. I think you're fine.
Okay, well, it's
I
gonna
thought you
be
did a
like
good job.
1080. I don't care.
Well,
hashtag Boogaroo.
Hashtag 125.
Hashtag 125.
I'm like Ryan doesn't do my math or whatever.
I had to like redo it in my head because I'm.
I will never be a
tired.
public speaker ever, unless I like
I can see
literally.
you
I'm gonna
being
say-
a public speaker.
I'm gonna save that portion just in case that ever happens.